Hey everyone, it's Eric Thor here with a pressing question. What is intuition? Let me show you. I'm looking for something. I don't know what, but I'm looking for something. There is something that has been bothering me for a while now, but I have no clue what. There is something wrong, but I don't know what. I think I have started to figure out the truth. I think I'm starting to find out the truth about things. I think I've seen something. I think this. Why? Why, you ask? I have no clue. I have no clue whatsoever why I think this. I have no clue where I'm basing this on, where it comes from. Don't ask me that. Sometimes I wonder if people don't see these things because they are ignorant. Why don't you realize this truth that I'm realizing right now? Why don't you see it? Why don't you understand me when I'm telling you about it? Is there something wrong with me, or is there something wrong with you? Am I like some kind of foreign alien object? Am I talking to you in a different language? I have no clue. I'm really dissatisfied. Like, no matter what I do, I'm kind of displeased. It's never good enough. I never really feel like it works. I feel like whenever I get to the truth, I just realize that I'm wrong again, immediately after. I get this big instinct, this big insight, but then it's like the next day I'm like, how did I think that? How did I even land in that conclusion? I have no clue whatsoever. In some ways, I'm kind of learning to embrace that I know nothing. I'm starting to like become happy in that sense that I admit that everything is absurd. I don't know anything. I don't act like I know anything. Everything I do is just guesswork. I'm always just talking in estimations. When I say something, understand that I'm never really sure. I just have a hunch. And usually that hunch has turned out to be accurate. And I think that maybe I'm good at learning about these things. My mind is good at sorting these things out unconsciously. But I'm not always good at explaining it. And just because I can't explain it, that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's hard for me sometimes to communicate with the world, but I'm starting to embrace the misunderstandings. Everyone has their journey, everyone is different, everyone thinks differently, and that's amazing, that's awesome. And it's really funny sometimes, like the misunderstandings I get with people, the things that happen. Sometimes I have no clue how other people work, and it's kind of fascinating. I'm starting to feel like this state of inner peace in a sense. I'm just moving with the world, I'm just happy with the world. I'm just getting past that old like feeling that I had to rush everything, that I had to push harder every time, that I had to be perfect every time. I think my intuition is starting to develop. Like, I'm starting to find positive, healthy ways to be an introverted intuitive. So this is my interpretation of intuition, and that's funny because intuition in itself is an interpretation. Intuition is also in many ways about doing the opposite. Like, I feel like introverted intuitives are always having these new perspectives because they don't like to maintain old theories. I think the traditional notion in an introverted intuitive is, if I used to think this, it must be wrong. If I actually did this before, it must be incorrect. Because I think they always see this development, this learning process. They are always in this process. In the moment, of course, it feels like they have figured it out. We have figured it out. But of course, when we look back at it, it's like, what was I even thinking? I have no clue what I was doing. Was I on crack? I don't know. But still, it's good stuff. Like, I think a lot of times introverted intuitives fear that people will pry and that people will look at their bad stuff and they will use it against them. But just because, who do you trust more? Someone who has been wrong for 50 years with full conviction, or somebody who has changed their minds every year for 50 years and who has landed on what they think is finally the final truth. That's my thoughts. What's your thought on introverted intuition? Feel free to share it in the discussion down below.